So you want to form an LLC in Nevada? No problem. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm going to show you the cheapest and easiest way to do it directly with the Secretary of State of Nevada. On top of that, I'm also going to show you how to use a service like INCfile to do it for you even faster and easier. Don't worry, I'm going to explain every single box along the way, so let's just get started. This is the Secretary of State website. We're going to go to nvsos.gov/SOS. That will get us to this page right here. This is the Nevada Secretary of State website. This is where you can form businesses, pay sales tax, and do all kinds of stuff related to the state. We're going to skip all that for now and just go straight to starting a business. So click on this button right here, and it will take you to a link that looks like this. Now there's some checklists and education on how to start your business here, but we're going to go straight to starting your business. So let's click on that right now. This is the first real set of questions that we're presented with. We want to do a partnership. Do we want to do an LLC? What about sole proprietor? Well, we're going to stick to LLC or limited liability company in this case. So we're going to click on Start a Nevada LLC. An LLC stands for limited liability company, by the way. We do not want to form a corporation. The domestic limited liability company is what we're looking for. The only time you would choose anything other is if you've been instructed or you're looking for a specialized entity. To be honest with you, most of these other entity types are rarely used. The most common is the domestic LLC. So let's get started here by clicking next. Now we have to do a couple different things. You'll see here we have to fill out our articles of organization and also common business registration. It's pretty simple. So let's click the green button and hit start. Here is one of the more important parts, the name. Now I'm going to choose Vanader Holdings LLC. When you're putting in the name here, you have to put LLC at the end, and then we're going to hit a search. The reason we search is because we need to make sure the name isn't taken before we fill out all the paperwork and submit it. So try different names here for you. Try experimenting with that. Always put the LLC at the end and search for it. If the name isn't taken, you're good. The only state that you have to worry about is Nevada because names of LLCs are state specific. If you're doing this for a property, for example, just use the property address 1234 Willow Street. Anyways, let's move forward. Here's another question. It's going to ask you to check the box if it's series limited liability or restricted. Restricted limited liability companies are used for people that are passing down assets. And so unless you're doing this to pass along assets to loved ones after they're planning on passing away, then don't pick that option. And the only time you would want a series LLC is if you're setting up a bunch of LLCs with basically the same information that are going to be like one holding company and a bunch of subsidiaries. Most people don't check these boxes. Neither are we. So we're going to hit next. Now we have to fill out the individual's information, the individual that's going to be the registered agent. In fact, I recommend using a service for registered agents, but you can also be your own registered agent. If you have an address in Nevada, then you can totally put your own address down, whether it's an apartment, a house, your mom's house, whatever. Just make sure that there's someone there that can get mail during business hours. There's basically two ways to do it. You can be your own registered agent or you can pay someone to be your registered agent. Now, with this option, the way we're doing it now with the state, you either have to choose yourself or another service that you've already prearranged something with. So for now, we're just going to use ourselves. And then on the second option with INCfile, I'm going to show you how to do a registered agent with using a service, which is what I prefer anyway. All right, so this is the first box that we get to. The first question is about registered agents. A registered agent is somebody that is here to accept mail on your behalf so that the government or the federal government doesn't have to go looking for you if you're living in another part of the country. So you can be your own registered agent. Just know that your address will become public and the government will be able to reach you at that address. There's nothing wrong with being your own registered agent. It is totally okay. You can use a house, an apartment, your mom's house, whatever you want. However, some people like to have their privacy. So what they'll do is they'll hire a registered agent to accept mail on their behalf. One of the more common registered agents, which I have no affiliation with, is Nevada Registered Agents. So what you would do here is you would click Entity, type in registered Nevada Registered Agent and search. And it will give you a list of registered agents to choose from. Now, only choose one of these registered agents if you have an agreement together to get them paid. Otherwise, this is not a good move. I like to keep myself anonymous, so I'm going to select one of these registered agents. It's going to fill in the box, and then we can hit next. So that's registered agents. This is the same for pretty much every single state, by the way. Don't worry, I'm going to show you a solution on how to avoid all of this messiness after we get through this initial application. Now we're going to go to management structure. If there is one person in your LLC, just one, you can choose manager managed. But most of the time, people are going to choose member managed LLCs. A member managed LLC is a limited liability company where all the members of the LLC have equal voting rights and equal presence in the company. And so if you're going to be a partnership, say with 2 people, or if you ever plan on bringing someone else into your company or giving up equity, I would suggest that you choose member managed LLC. And that's okay. Member managed LLCs can only have one member, you. That's okay too. But we're going to go with member managed because it's the best in my opinion. We're going to put down my first name with my holding company here. It's going to be an individual. We're going to hit add officer, and then you'll see the managing member is down here. That's because there's only one member, and we're going to hit next. That's simple. If you had other partners, you could add them in there as well. Now, you're going to want the name of the organizer or the person that's putting this LLC together and filling out the documents. So once again, I'm going to use my name. I'm going to save it. Now, this name could be any state, mind you. I'm going to put in a signature. I'm going to hit save. I'm authorized to sign on behalf. Now you can see that my name is down here, the date, and the action's been taken. So we have put down an organizer. Then I'm going to hit next. This is an additional documentation field. If you had specific entities that required additional documentation, you could add it here. But in our case, just forming a simple limited liability company, that is not necessary. So we're going to hit next. However, if you did want to upload something, you can click this button, do it there. So we're going to hit next. We have our domestic limited liability company. Domestic means it's within the state of Nevada. And we're going to hit next. Oops. We're going to hit start filing. That's what we got to do. All right. So here's a box that's asking you if it is exempt from taxes or the exempt from the business license fee, which is either a government entity or an insurance company. Shitty insurance. Doesn't matter. We're probably none of those. Unless you are a government entity or an insurance agency, don't check that box. Now we're looking at the management structure, so we need to put in the officers of the limited liability company. If you're doing this by yourself, it's probably just going to be you. If it's you and 2 other people, you would want to put down all the officers' names, everybody in the company that has a position of power, and this is where you would fill that out. So you can choose the title, and we can do like co-founder, for example, or in my case, I'm going to put founder because it's just going to be me. We're going to choose my name with my holding company's address. And hit add officer. Now, if you want to add someone else, like another co-founder, you would do the same thing. Other, add co-founder, hit add officer, and then go next. If you have 2 more people to add to the company, you can do that here as well and make them all officers. But in this case, it's just going to be me. Now we need to sign. So we're going to use my address here. I'm going to be let's say I'm going to be an officer on this one. We're going to hit save. You can see it shows up right down here that the officer has signed the company paperwork. Ooh, the fee. That is expensive. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. This business is not exempt from any licensing fees. It's just giving us the active officers, our signatures, the structures member managed. We want to make sure that's all correct, and then we'll hit continue. All right, so here's where we're at. We have the initial list all put together. We're going to hit next. And this is going to give us a chance to review it. So remember, we check no on series, no on restricted. We know that Nevada registered agents is going to be a registered agent, or it can be yourself. I'm the officer here. That's my holding company address, the signatures, everything looks correct. Now we had add to shopping cart. Holy shit. Now this is a test company that I made, Vanader Holdings, an earlier one. So I'm going to delete that. But you can see the charges for filing an LLC in Nevada are $425. Now, some of you might have looked at the fee schedule, which is right here that I pulled up, and you see there's no $350 fee for putting together a list of managing members. But this is a really old fee schedule. So I called the state of Nevada. I called them and asked them, and sure enough, the fees did change. So when you're looking at the fees of $425, it's correct. The next thing that you need to do is enter your payment information. And so you can go to this field and fill all of that out. I'm not going to enter the payment information because I'm not going to place this order. But we do need to go back so that I can show you one other thing. Okay, so we have common business registrations. It's wise to fill out because it gives you some extra information. Let me show you why. So basically what you would do is you'll fill out your NAICS code, which is a national system for identifying what your company does. You can hit search and you can type in all kinds of goofy stuff, manufacturing. You can search it and choose the NAICS code that works for you. Let's do dog and cat food manufacturing. We're going to get rid of space. So we're going to be, we make dog food. No, we make healthy dog food. And then you get the opportunity to set a classification, tell them if you have a specific address where you're doing business, which can or cannot allow you to get a business permit or not, and set that all up. Then we hit next, and then that's in there. And then we would click this, we sign it so that we are basically saying all the information is correct. We would hit next, and then we have figured it out. And so these two things will be completed after we finish the checkout. So all you need to do next is hit the checkout button, and you can pay for everything, and you will be done. That's it. That's how you form a Nevada LLC. So basically they're going to mail you the documentation for your LLC, and you'll also be able to log in and print your articles of organization and everything else like that. But you can see the portal was kind of, it was kind of a little confusing. There's a lot going on. So let me show you the best way to form an LLC. This is my favorite right here. It's called INCfile. I use INCfile for all kinds of entity formations. In fact, I've used it 8 or 9 times already for the majority of my companies that I've created. So let me show you how it works. We're going to hit incorporate now. We're going to choose LLC. We're going to choose our state of Nevada. Let's just scroll a little bit further. And you can see the payment's pretty much the same. Holy cow, like it's just about the same in cost. So why would you not use an interface and a system that's a little bit easier? Let's just click the silver package. Let's keep it really simple. We're going to leave our mailing address, which is fine. And this is the mailing address that you're going to put in for yourself. It doesn't matter if it's in the state of Nevada or not. You just need a mailing address. Let's hit next now that we filled out our personal information. Now we can choose whether we want to expedite the process by paying an extra $50 or if we would just want to do it in the normal 3-week time frame. We're not in a hurry, so we're just going to hit next on the 3-week time frame. All right, now we have to choose an LLC name. I know Vanader Holdings is good, and we've already checked. And so we're just going to use that one, Vanader Holdings LLC. Boom, look at that. The business industry, this time let's be consultants. 1 member, the business purpose, we help entrepreneurs build businesses so they can save more money and pay. Dude, we help entrepreneurs build businesses. There we go. NAICS code. Oh, let's see here. Education services. Let's go there. Let's choose the subcode. We're going to go with other technical and trade schools because we teach people literally the bare bones of forming a business. Here is my favorite part. Okay. So here's one of the things that I really like about INCfile. Remember how we were talking about the registered agents last time and how difficult it is to put yourself out there and make your address public and using your own address as your business, etc. Kind of sucks. I like to pay an extra $30 a month and use their business address for me. It's called a virtual address. Basically what happens is you use their mailing address. All your mail gets sent to them. They open it up, scan it, email to you. You tell them whether you want it forwarded to yourself, whether you want it destroyed or recycled or shredded. It's all up to you. But it allows you to live anywhere, exist anywhere, and do business from anywhere while having a legitimate address within the state of Nevada. I almost always choose this professional address option because it's so simple and it saves me so much headache. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. Now you can also use your own address if you want to. So here they're asking if you want to upgrade the package and get the EIN, your operating agreement, a banking resolution, and a business contract templates. I mean, honestly, they're kind of worth it if you don't have any of this stuff or if you don't know how to get any of this stuff. I mean, it's only an extra $99. So sometimes I just like to hit the plus sign and go ahead and get it done. But getting your EIN is free. Putting an operating agreement in place is free if you go to my website and download the operating agreement for free, which is vanader.com. Banking resolutions, not always needed because you can just kind of fill out your information. The business contracts do help if you don't have anything like that. So really up to you. Really up to you. Just know that most of this stuff is free. You're paying for a convenience. We're going to upgrade just for fun to see what it's like. Okay. All right. So we're going to use the individual for the first member, the assigned company address by INCfile. See, now I don't have to come up with an address in Nevada. 100% ownership goes to me. If you wanted to add anyone else there, you could. All right. Now we've gotten to the registered agent part. Another favorite of mine. With the link that you're using below, the link that I provide, you get a whole year of free registered agent services, which is a steal. So if you want to use INCfile as your registered agent, pay them $119 a year, go for it. I do. I think it's amazing because I'm really big on anonymity and I don't really want anyone to know where I am. So we're just going to choose it and hit yes. Now they're going to ask us about the EIN and the tax identification number. And so this is where we would have to put in our social security number. Okay. I'm not a foreign individual. We're going to choose my name. We're going to choose our street address. Principal business activity is going to be, let's see, other. These are all questions for the EIN, by the way. And we're going to hit next. Don't ever set up small business banking with Bank of America. Wells Fargo and Bank of America kind of suck. I recommend Chase or Mercury. So you're not, unless you were really into it and you're already banking with Bank of America, choose this option. But no, I'm not going to choose that. They're going to ask for what is your preferred delivery method of your company documentation. Electronic is free and Federal Express costs $25. We're going to go with free because once you fill this out with INCfile, you can log into your portal and look at your company documents all the time. Do I want a tax consultation? No, I'm not interested at this time. They've identified 2 licenses that a consultant would need in Nevada. Do you want them to send you all the applications? You can pay $99 for this or you can look them up yourself. I'm going to look them up myself. But if you're one of those people who just wants them to do it all for you, just go ahead and check the box. INCfile does a really good job. Okay, now we're going to review all of our information. We're going to hit next. Order summary. Boom, here you go. See, it's going to cost us $553 to do the entire thing, whereas over on this website, it's going to be $425. So for just a little bit more, you can have everything completed for you with using INCfile. This is one of my favorite ways to fill everything out. This is one of my favorite ways to start a business just because it's so simple and you could tell that interface was just way better. So if you're interested in doing that, I will leave links below in the description, both for the Nevada Secretary of State and INCfile. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up too in the comments or shoot me an email. If you like the way that I teach, you can find me at Vanader.com. That's where I run a school for entrepreneurs. I teach them how to set up businesses and how to pay less in taxes and how to build their business the correct way so they can focus on what they do best, being the business owner and not dealing with the minutia and all the bullshit. We have a ton of students and I really, really enjoy working with them. So if you like the way that I teach, check it out. You might get some value out of it. I've got a ton of other YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram. Check it all out. You'll find it all at Vanader.com. Thanks for sticking with me through this video. I hope you got some value out of it and I'll see you on the next one. Keep educating. Be good to future you.